Hey, so the mid-4th season premiere of The Walking Dead is coming up, and instead of summarizing what's happened, I'd rather talk about the 3 most obnoxious moments of the zompocalyptic show so far. Oh, and before I forget, spoilers dead ahead. Do not continue unless you are completely up to date on The Walking Dead. Seriously, any spoilers you encounter from here on out are your own fault, okay? Ready? Here we go. Now, one of the big plot points in this season was the outbreak of an illness in the prison that our heroes were staying in. The fear of the illness spreading caused many characters to take drastic measures, including the sweet but hardened Carol. She killed and burned 2 people who had fallen ill, and when this was discovered by Rick, he decided to take her out into the field and let her go because she took matters into her own hands when she didn't have the right to do so. Excuse me, Rick, you really want to talk about people taking matters into their own hands? How about the time you handcuffed Merle to the roof of that building and left him to die? Or how about that time you killed Shane and even lied to Carol about it? Or that time you didn't kill the governor when he was sitting at a table right in front of you? I'm sure things were different then though. Zombies everywhere, Carl running around like it was recess, you still had your hat. Unlike now where, well, I guess not much of the scenario has changed, except for the hat thing. Another big moment from this season that had us yelling at our screens was when they spent 2 whole episodes on trying to make us think the governor was human. First off, who would take in a scraggly looking man with an eye patch during a zombie apocalypse? I mean, I'm pretty sure not too many eye patch wearers would survive very long after the initial outbreak because of depth of field affecting their bow and arrow skills and such. So the Chandler family could have gathered that this man suffered an eye injury post-outbreak and very well could be infected, preventing them from taking in the governor, or Brian as he tells them. Secondly, the minute Lily Chandler found out that Brian previously lost a daughter to walkers should have been a red flag in terms of starting a relationship. Everyone knows that a person who tries to recreate the past will never be able to make it live up to the standard that it once was before, especially in a zombie apocalypse. Come on, girl. Lastly, I would like to also question the judgment of everyone in the governor's new camp. Brian shows up and their next 2 leaders mysteriously die. So the logical thing to do next is trust the guy who wants to move the whole camp and take on a prison armed to the teeth? You people were living so nicely before. Granted, you were barely scraping by, but it was low conflict. Now you want to go guns a-blazing based on the word of a new guy? These people only helped the governor come full circle instead of changing him. Which brings me to my final point. The mid-season finale had an ending of epic proportions. Lots of bullets were fired, hostages were taken, walkers flooded the field, and even a freaking tank was used. We also saw the demise of some crucial characters, and spoilers, Herschel going out like the BAMF he is, and finally the governor meeting his much-needed demise by way of 2 girls, 1 governor. You go, girls. However, while all of this was very satisfying, in the end it just made you feel like the previous 8 episodes were all for nothing. Episode 8 ended up in the same spot that the final episode of season 3 did, a standoff between Rick's and the governor's armies. This is the ending we should have gotten the first time around. Instead, we got 8 episodes of filler that ended up in the same place we could have ended 8 freaking episodes ago. If this was the way season 3 had ended, we'd be 8 episodes into the future. That means 8 more episodes of a dispersed group involving individual episodes of just a father and son relationship between Rick and Carl, or Glenn and Maggie taking care of the group's children and learning the true meaning of parenthood, or Daryl finding baby Judith and traversing the forest killing walkers. Think about it, a baby using a crossbow. How awesome would that be? But alas, we are here, left with the final words of Rick telling Carl to never look back. Hopefully that's the new showrunner's way of hinting to us that this whole type of unfulfilling storyline is behind the show and that they're moving away from the prison that was the prison storyline. Of course, that is only if Carl would stay in the dang house. Jeez, that kid just can't stay out of trouble.